Hi everyone, welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and update number 2 of AMT's the Green Hornet's Black Beauty car. I got a bunch done and we're about going to wrap this thing up. So let's check out the phone and I'll show you what we've been doing. I'm going to bring it down just a smidge here. As you can see, went ahead and used my quick shine and quick shined all the framework underneath, left the flat black. It went pretty good. Matter of fact, I was kind of happy with the way it went down. I'm using a couple of new brushes that I got from the Boardman Hobby Shop. And I really like these brushes, and they're like dirt cheap. This thing was like, I don't know, a couple bucks. I got 2 sets of them the last time I was there, and I got to go there next week sometime and replenish a bunch of my paint. My clear paint and stuff like that I use. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. But we ran the fuel lines around the back. I even put an expansion on it. I was having fun. And we ran the brake lines down, and I kind of just Hollywooded those in because the way this is built, I can't really go into the brake drum and everything. So I just kind of went up on top of the springs just so they're there. Everything painted well. You see the blue is done, and it's looking streaky on the camera, but it isn't in person. That's just the way my camera's picking the light up. Put a Fram oil filter in there. Painted the transmission and everything with the aluminum. I got a finger. I should be using it. It's a green one that Jim sent me. Transmission we painted the last time you saw. I went and did a coat of my panel liner on that. I also used the Weathermaster C on my exhaust all the way down. You see, I drilled that out way in there for the exhaust. That's looking pretty good. But I Weathermastered C that with the rust, and then I came back and I hit that with the panel liner too, just so it wasn't all aluminum all the way back down through. And I wanted to do a little bit of break in what things were. Our steering, our sway bar, I talked about. Well, I came back and panel lined all that and got it, and it looks pretty good. There's some good detail in this thing. And remember, this is all molded in, but this piece isn't. So that went well. You see, I got the brooms on here. I'll flip it around so you can see. They came out fairly decent. I still want to put a little coat of quick shine on the bristles to give them a little bit of, I don't know, they're going to have a little bit of shine instead of just flat. But all in all, everything went well. If you are doing this kit, now I make my wheels not roll, but if you're doing this kit, these axles are so stinking tight, and I'm glad I remembered that because I tried to pre-fit one of the tires on there, or one of the rims on the axle, and I don't want to have to struggle that hard, to be honest with you. I don't like the wheels rolling because, somebody walks by your shelf too hard and onto the floor it goes. So what I did is I drilled the rims out the next size up. I used a drill bit till it felt tight, and I ran that one in there, and it didn't take any plastic out, so I went the next drill bit up, and that's in just my drill bit pack, and drilled it out with that. It fit on there extremely sloppy, but a little bit of super glue, and this is the super glue I use. This bottle will last me a half a year, if not more. Usually it's the cap fills up with guff, and I can't get it to seal anymore. But I super glued the tire on, ran it through the axle, super glued the other one on, just sat there and held them for a second. I don't put my decals on the outsides yet. Did the same thing with the front. They sit flush and flat, and they're not going to fall off. And I'm not going to bend on an axle or something. I mean, these things are tight. So I just want to let everybody know, if you're not going to, across the floor with it, which I can still do. I mean, I was going the other night. I don't know if anybody else does that or not, but glue them in like that, drill them out, glue them in. It saves a whole lot of hassle. I did do a little bit of dry brushing underneath here, just a little. I wanted, Cato flips this car upside down, so I figured he's going to keep it clean. But I did want to bring out a little bit of the highlights in things, and I used the Weathermaster C. I used the aluminum. I used the gunmetal and the aluminum, real light. This is the aluminum up front, and then here, and then I used some gunmetal here and there. The gunmetal I used on the axle, or on the drive shaft. And what I did, and I actually thought ahead. I got some on a Q-tip, and I went this way with it. 9 times out of 10, I tell everybody, go with the way the car goes. But with the drive shaft, it's spinning around in a circle this way, and it's going to get the dirt marks going this way on it. So I remember to do it this time. So I'm proud of myself on that. That's pretty much it. I'm happy with how it came out so far. I mean, I'm really happy with how this is working. I love those rims. They came out so good. And the brushes, like I said, that's gunmetal. These aren't attached. They're just pushed in here. They'll pull right out. And I'm not going to glue them in case person that gets this doesn't want them in. They are removable. So, and they just pop in. I'm sure if you took them in and out 20 times, they would wear out. You'd have to either decide on pitching them or gluing them in. But I'll leave the option up to him. And there's that. Lot. I mean, that's about a half a day's worth of painting right there, just to get everything perfect. Then we went on to the interior. And I'm telling you, I love this interior. I painted up Rip Reeve. I turned his head on this one so he's looking out the window a little bit instead of just looking straight ahead. So when you look into the window, you can see his face a little bit better because this is pretty good. I mean, they did a good job. Like I said, the last time, the first thing I did was painted the band around his hat green, and then realized watching the show while I'm building this, that's supposed to be black and everything else was supposed to be green. So that's easy to fix. But he came out good. He's looking shiny on the camera. He does have a little bit of shine, but not that much. I powdered him down pretty good along with Cato. Cato was easy. I mean, flat black hood or hat, the semi-gloss black for the brim and for his mask and for his whole everything else. The gloves I left alone. I didn't paint the gloves on either one of them because I thought that looked good enough. It looks like the leather, just like the seats. And I was jazzed with that. It was nice. His boots, I did paint black, though. The carpet, I did just a little tiny bit of weathering. Cato's going to keep this thing immaculate, so I just left it that way. Now let's talk about the door panels. On the last build, I told everybody, don't glue this on, this panel here, until you get Cato in place, and don't put the dash on until Cato is in place. Now, let me bring it down so I'm not holding this and moving it all over town. Now, with that being said, what I did is I put Cato in the seat. I put the dash in, made sure his hands were as close to touching that steering wheel as they could be. I leaned him forward with the dash sitting here, leaned him forward, put glue under his butt, put him back into place, and let him sit. And once that was done, I was able to put this door panel in, and I just glued the dash in from the two sides on the outside where it'll never be seen, but it'll lock them in. That way, Cato's not going to go anywhere, but you can't get Cato underneath that steering wheel at all. And if you want to try to put Cato in there with his door panel on, and then put this down over top, have at. It's just a lot easier to slide them in, put this on, tilt them, glue them, put them back, put the panel on, and be done with it. And now look at the dashboard on here. That was so fun. Those are decals, except for the two corners, which I just painted in with Hall Red. And I didn't even do any more. Once I got the Hall Red in there over that chrome, it was like, leave it alone. You can see his scope right here. If you look at that kind of on the side, you can see that it's domed. And what I did is I got the decal in and let it dry. I painted all the little knobs and buttons and everything, let them dry. Came back with my resin, put resin on that until it had just a little dome on it. And I also put resin in these lights right here, just so it has a tiny dome. Hit it for 1 minute, done. I did the same thing to the back ones. And I'll tell you what really came out good is the radar. That had a dome on it already. I accentuated it with the resin, and it looks cool, especially on the side. Check that out. That looks really good. The other TV screens, you can see they are domed. This one I made bigger because it's a bigger screen, and it back in the and I can remember those screens had that huge hump in the front, because that was a tube. The switches, I chromed them. This is all flat, and it's supposed to be flat. Didn't know that. Last one I did semi-gloss, and it was wrong. But this one's flat. Then I painted Future Firm in there where all the switches are and let that dry for 3 days, along with everything else chrome is all the Future Firm. And once you put it on, you leave it alone. And with where the decals are, I painted that whole area with Future Firm. That way, if the decal slid cattywampus right or left or high or low, you still get a nice chrome line in there, and it looks good. So, but the switches, once they were dry, I went online and I saw that there's a red and a green, and then the middle ones, I just left go. So that looks good. The switches on the radome and on the radar came out nice. He looks good. The door panels look good. The telephone, I painted the switches. The middle one is red. It's just not showing up for some reason. And then I added the telephone wire to it. I still have to get in here to do the little logo. I haven't done that yet because I'm just going to use my gel pen and go in there, face 2 seconds off the dash and paint that in. It'll just be easier to set this whole thing down with my hand like this and draw that in. Now that everything's assembled, I can do that knowing I'm not going to stick my big Snicker bars in there and mess that up. And that's why I waited. I wanted all this together before I gel pen that, because I wasn't about to try to do that outline in Future Firm. I just know I would mess that seat up. And I like how the leather looks on these seats. It looks really good. Same with the dash. It just looks really, really good. But that's that. It really wasn't hard. I mean, you're laying decals down, you're painting a little bit of chrome, and then a little bit of the UV resin. So you figure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 7 minutes worth of dry time with the resin, because I did each one of these individually. But it's super easy. And now I want to talk to you about why I brought you here. This is going to be a pretty quick video, to be honest with you. We're lighting this. Let me back this out. We're going to light it. If you want to see how to light this, I did a video on my last build of this that goes in detail on how I ran the wires and drilled the lights and all that and got it all done. I didn't think anybody'd want to see it a repeat or a rerun of a rerun. So I just went ahead and did it up to this point. With the last one, I learned that I did not like underneath the black here or underneath the red. I did not like the chrome. Um, just it looks okay when it's on, when the lights are on. I just didn't care for it that much when the lights were off. So I did not chrome those, but it still looks good. I got the LEDs run there. The LEDs run. Look at how nice those lights came out. I drilled them out from the back, and I haven't blackened them out yet so I can show you. But I drilled them out from the back, put them in, locked them in with resin. Just a little drop of resin in there, and then hit it with the light so that the LEDs will stick tight. And then put them in place, put them in the car, and then hit them with the quick shine. And that quick shine really brings the life out of the glass. Same with the back here. It really brings the life into those lenses. Now, I'm going to bring the rag back here. There is a wiring mess underneath here. But it's all thought out this time. I got the 4 wires running back here. The last time when I did is I ran this set of headlights down this side, this set of headlights down this side, and I had to solder a little bit of extra since this car is so long. Even with my long LEDs, I had to solder a little piece of extra wire to get it out to where I can hook it up to the switch. But this one, I decided I'm going to run all these around. I know that I have to solder wire to wires just to get it long enough to come back here. So I made a nice amount of like tension relief on here, because remember last time I lost one of my headlights, and I'm pretty sure I lost it because I was trying to get these wires pulled tight down here to fit, and I more than likely messed it up right in the socket, and that took out all the lights. So I had to lose one of my headlights because by that time I had it all finished and it was just too late. So I added the tension relief to the back. The 3 lights on each side, I started from the very, very top light. I taped it down, put a piece of tape behind the wire to hold it. Did the next one, I taped it down right over the LED, put a piece of line over the top to hold it. Did the same thing with this one. Then I put a relief in here, and I did the same thing on this side and put a relief over here, twisted all those wires up, and made them to where they'll come out the back. Because the back piece isn't going to be attached, it just slides in place. I may have to drill these holes out just a smidge to make it easier to pull in and out, because mine's kind of stiff. But I want to put 2 dome lights in here. I have one in mine, which is right in the middle where it should be. I'm going to put a dome light right about here on this, and that should light Kato, and then one right about here that should light the back where Rip Reeve is. I want to go forward of the door jamb on here, and I want to go aft of the door jamb on this one. And I think that'll give us a ton of light inside. And then I thought I had purple glass when I turn the lights on. It does. It looks purplish when you look at it from the front. So I was going to just go with green LEDs. And I always say, when you're using the LEDs, keep the color of the LED the same when you do them. Let me clarify that. I learned from Stu that if you mix your colors, one of the colors is going to pull all the power and the other one's going to end up being off. He ended up, we banged our heads for a couple of days trying to figure that out, and then he realized that if you throw a resistor in the back, you can run 2 different colors. But I've always bought the same color just because I always use it on the headlights, and then the tail lights are always red anyhow. But I'm into it to where I wanted green lights. I have the Tamiya green, so I painted the LED green, and it works pretty stinking good. It is bright, but you can all see that that's not bright enough to light the inside of that car in a normal lighted situation. And I did that after I painted both the LEDs the white. Um, so I said, no, we're not going to do that. So we are back to um, painting the glass. And again, I used the Tamiya's Clear. This is X25, and I'm almost out. I got to get some more. And thank you again so much. And you know who you are. But man, did this make a difference. with the Tamiya paint, the clear at least, this is huge difference for me. I always just use the Tamiya thinner with Tamiya paints. I have not yet tried the Kaleido retarder thinner on the Tamiya paints. And I wasn't going to do that on somebody else's kit. That's the only reason why I didn't try the Kaleido with the Tamiya clear. But let's bring up that video of me painting this thing. And you can see I used the Mobius Point 3. I already did the little winglets to see. Now we're doing the back window. And I paint this on the inside of the window. And you can see, man, that painted really nice. I was at 19 PSI on this. So low pressure, just like I would with the Kaleido paints. I'm really, really, really liking the lower pressure and thinning it out just a little bit more to go to town. I had to stop there for a second because that glass is pretty loose. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to fall off while I was painting. And now I'm going up and down, and I know that's going to do zebra if I leave it that way. But it was just easier for me to see what I was doing going up and down like this. And you can see how nice that is spraying. I am not moving my index finger once I got the spray level the way it was. I just made sure that every time I went up and down, I came all the way off the piece all the way. And look at how nice that did. And now I didn't wait 5 minutes. I didn't wait 3 minutes. I came back and I'm taking a look. Yeah, I want to put another coat. I want it a little bit darker than that. So I already had 2 coats on the winglets. I'm going to go ahead and hit this again right now, going the opposite direction. And you can see how the paint's atomizing, and you see how my spray booth is just eating it up. It did a good job, really good job. Again, I hit the rear view mirror. I did the winglets just to keep everything as even. I think I got a little extra on the winglets, but check that out. Now that is awesome. So I'm going to come back to the phone now. Let me pause you for a second. Okay, and here is the glass. You can see this is the inside, which is going to be the dirtier side. It's not going to be as level, but you can see it laid down there fairly nice. I got 1 spot of dust in there. There's nothing I can do about that except for just eat it. But look at how nice that is. And now for the kicker, check that out. And it's just that easy to do smoke. Or I've seen people do blue. The blue I think would be cool on like a drag car or something. But it's easy to do that. So I'm going to pause again. So that brings us back to this, where I'm all lit except for my dome lights. I'm going to put the dome lights in here. I know I'm going to push a purplish tint out of that. But it is what it is. It's going to look great with the lights off it's going to look really good with the lights on. So I had to just kind of eat it, because I know that's going to look a little purplish, but I think in the long run, I would rather have that green glass anyhow than have the green lights and the clear. It just, when the lights are off, it just looks so cool. But now I'm going to pause you one more time because I'm going to hook the lights up and show you how the lights look on this so far. All right, well, there's the headlights lit. They look really good. They're not as bright as I would like them because my test light is about worn out. There we go. I'm squeezing the battery. My tester isn't the best. But here's the tail lights. And now you see why I like this way better than I liked the painted chrome on the inside. I just think that looks so much better. I'm going to turn the lights off. I'll be right back. Now check that out. That's with a lot of light in the room still. But see how sweet that looks? I love it. The headlights look awesome. So there we go. I'm having a whole lot of fun here. This will be done the beginning of next week because I have a couple of videos that I want to do for the Cleveland Model Show. I'm all set now. I just got to kind of put them together. But I wanted to get this video out for everybody before I hit the pause button on everything to get those videos up and running. We even have drone footage of the video of the show. So with that, I want to thank everybody for showing up and watching my videos. I want to thank Gallery for everything they've done with my airbrushes, my paints, my compressor. They've done a whole lot for me, and they've done a lot for everybody else, just putting it out there so that all the stuff they've done for our hobby. And I want to thank them for that. I want to thank our active duty members, our veterans, and our first responders for putting it out on the line every single day. And I salute each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And with that, I want to thank all of you for hanging out to the end. You all have a great day, a better tomorrow, and thanks again for watching.